Drink that bitter medicine if it makes you well. Raise up your hand if you've ever taken any bitter medicine when growing up. Did you enjoy it? I can tell you didn't. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, life gave me its own bitter medicine. When my parents separated, I was just 6 years old. My siblings and I stayed with our mom. After about a year or so, my mom got a scholarship to study at a university in Wales. So she took us to live with our grandmother, except my eldest brother, who was already in high school and had to go off to boarding school. We all fondly called our grandmother Iye, which means mother in my local Edo language. It is a name of both affection and respect. My grandmother commanded respect without having to ask for it. A silent disciplinarian, resilient and tough, with strength like an iron. Living under Iye's roof felt like a journey back in time. Her house was warm, her backyards filled with lots of fruit trees. I enjoyed climbing the mango trees and eating those succulent oranges. In her presence, there was this feeling of peace and settledness, as if nothing could shake her. One memory of her stands out vividly. I remember laying on her bed, feeling very sick. Suddenly, I started to count. 1, 2, 3, moving my hands as I counted. The walls seemed to close in on me. Scared, I jumped up and ran outside. I had only made it 2 blocks away from our house when our neighbor, Madam Irene, caught me and brought me back to Iye. I later learned from my uncle, who is also a medical doctor, that I had been hallucinating due to the high fever. Iye held my hand tightly as we both walked back home. As soon as we got home, she asked me to sit on a wooden stool while she set a huge pot of water on the stove, filling it up with all kinds of leaves, such as tea, guava, mango, banana, and so on. In my culture, there is this belief that the essence from boiling these leaves could cure almost any ailment. My grandmother believed in these remedies with all her heart. I hated it. It looked awful and tasted very bitter. Have you ever been in a situation of no escape before? I can tell you that it wasn't very merry for me. My grandmother pointed at the house across the street. She asked me, "Amen, what do you see?" I responded, "Lots of people crying, Iye." She explained, "Mr. Digon just passed away from an ailment, and now he's no longer with us. Do you want to be like him?" I quickly responded, "Oh no, Iye." She looked at me and firmly said, "Now drink this herbal medicine if you want to get well." Fellow Toastmasters, life, just like my grandmother's bitter medicine, doesn't always taste sweet. Sometimes it can be difficult to swallow. Those difficult moments, the ones that we'll rather avoid, often brings us our greatest healing and growth. That experience changed my perspective completely. Can you guess what I did with the cup of bitter medicine? I gulped it all up. I wanted to get well so I can be out playing with my friends. Fellow Toastmasters, what experience are you going through today? Could it help if you look at it as a half cup full rather than half cup empty? A change in perspective could make all the difference. So, my friends, I challenge you today. Whenever you're going through any difficult situation, such as a tough day at work, personal struggles, or a dream that seems unattainable, take a pause. Look at the positive possibilities. Let resilience guide you, just as my grandmother taught me. Drink that bitter medicine if it makes you well. With every sip you take, you get better and stronger. Back to you, Mr. Toastmasters.